So here we are, it's the next day. Our box seems nice and dry. It's coated all over the outside. I did say last night that I might try to put a second coat on, but I actually don't think I'm going to now because it seems pretty well covered. There are a few slightly more transparent spots you can see, like here and here, but they're not terribly uncovered, and yeah, I'm going to be putting a different color on in the background anyway, so I think this is okay as it is. I also was just thinking it's good we did the gesso because this kind of cardboard seems very absorbent to moisture, to water, and I will be working with some water mixed in with my paints. So yeah. So I've also got here a palette that I've made. This is still trying to reuse materials, so I had this bag that my friend brought some paperwork over in, and I didn't want to just get rid of it because it doesn't really have anything in it, or it didn't have anything in it that would make it need to be thrown away. So figured it would make a good palette. I also have this box from some headphones in here. That's just to give some stability to it. So as I'm looking at this bag, yeah, I think this is a good size to use that with. And I'm going to close the top just to try and add a little more stability. Write that down. Alright, well that's good for the palette. I also sometimes mix my paints with Mod Podge, which is a PVE glue. Is it PVE? I can't remember the type of glue, but it's just basically the regular type of glue, but it comes in this like pot form, and it's good for crafts. It's just really versatile. I like to use it to kind of make my paints go further, and especially because the paints in this little set here are very tiny tubes. I don't know why they would make such tiny tubes, but they are pretty tiny. So yeah, I'm gonna dilute it a little bit with this glue. I actually haven't opened this box in about 4 years, a little over 4 years. I was just thinking about that. You ever have things where you say you like to do something, or you think that you do something all the time, but then you look back and it's actually been a while since you did that thing? Well, apparently that is me with painting, because yeah, I haven't used these in years. So I hope they're still good. You can tell which one I like to use. This darker brownish purple color. So just given the volume of paint I have here, I might have to break out of my comfort zone a little bit and use something else that I might not use as much usually. This one looks like it has a good amount of paint in it, and I don't actually mind that color. Kind of a mustardy yellow color. Doesn't give the name. Maybe it says on the box. Nope. This was like a very cheap set. This is like the cheap sort of kids set that was, oh, I don't know, I guess I got it at Ross. But yeah, it says it's usually $5. And if you've bought paint before, you know that a set like this, that would be $5, so it must be pretty cheap. And I like this color, but I don't know if those go together. This blue looks good. And just to darken things up with that. I really do like this green, but this is starting to look a little 60s, early 70s in a way that I'm not necessarily, well actually it looks more like early 60s, late 50s. I don't know what I was saying, early 70s, but whatever the case, honestly, I guess I'm just gonna see what I go with when I go with it. We'll start off by putting as the background, I think, a mixture of these two. So what I'm gonna do is get my, oh, I just realized that I left my my cloth in the other room, so I have to go get that real quick. Actually, I didn't leave it in the other room, it was just behind me. Okay, so here's my cloth, have that handy, because I'm probably going to have to wipe off this palette. In addition to just cleaning off the brushes, I think I'm going to have to wipe off this palette, just because of the way that I'm trying to do things here. So, where did I put the, oh, here it is. So I think I'm going to go with, actually, let's just see how these look when I mix them together. This. I'm not squeezing out too much right now because I just want to kind of see how they look together. I think I might actually mix these two. Well, we'll see. Let me see how they look together. I didn't really bring a blending stick in here with me, so I am going to use the back of one of these brushes. It's already open. I want one that's thin but not terribly thin, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm just going to mix, see what we get. Ooh, I like the way those colors go together. It's honestly not bad. I do kind of wish it was a little bit darker, so I'm going to add a little black. Kind of actually a lot of black, but we're going to be thinning it down with the glue anyway, so we'll see. And this might not look like a very nice color to begin with, but it is just a background color, so it does have to be a little bit neutral. That was way too much black. Okay, I'm going to add the glue at this point just to kind of see where it is before we add some more color. This is a fresh pot, so I need to open it. I had a thing around here. Alright, we're going to use this pen. It's a nice sharp pen. Just cut the top and peel it open. It's got a very gluey smell. Somehow it like takes me immediately back to kindergarten. Oops. Yeah, it's got a very kindergarten craft smell. It looks fairly liquid in there. Yeah, that's very liquidy. Alright, just gonna add this to our paint before it dries out completely. Adding quite a bit because I want this to be able to cover. So let's see how this looks, this color, when it's mixed in with the glue. Hold on, I realize I need to put the lid back on here so it doesn't spill. Oops. Okay. I like this marbly effect. That's cool. It's almost like paisleys. Wow. That's very pretty. I actually do like that color. It's kind of a warm gray tone now. Kind of marbly. I'm, however, going to add a little more of this yellow just to warm it up a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to blend this all in. It does look pretty just marbled like that, but I'm going to try and blend it in. So it's not fully blended in yet, but I'm gonna just squish it together so that it doesn't, oh gosh, and we can see now that there's plenty of color underneath that wasn't getting worked in. I'm squishing it together though, just so that it doesn't dry out as quickly. It being spread out like that, there's more surface area. And keeping it in one big pile is going to help reduce the exposure to air, which will dry it out. Okay. So I think that's a good mix. It's a very interesting brown color right now. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, I don't know that I do like that color. I want it to be more red. There's this dark red I could add. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and add some of this red, which is a brighter red, a truer red, just to try and get some of those somber blue tones out of there. So let's get that mixed up. It really just sinks to the bottom in a very interesting way. This red feels a little more gloopy than the others. this is an interesting color. Actually, it's not terrible, but I think I muted it a bit too much with the black. So it's become this strange, like, bricky earth tone. Which isn't terrible, but I guess we'll see how it turns out. It's like strange brick tone. Maybe not strange, but I guess brick isn't necessarily a strange color. What I want it to be, I think, is more purple, but I went in the wrong direction. I think it'll be perfect. Or maybe not. But I think it'll be perfect if I go back and add some more blue now. I know I was just trying to get away from the blue, but I think what I was trying to get away from was that super brown color. Which I want it to be a little bit brown, but it was just a little too brown. A little too muddy looking. Wow, these are some bright colors. I mean, when they get mixed in, of course, they're not bright anymore. And of course, I forgot that blue is going to be dominant in this. So I'm sort of destroying the red I just put in there. But, oh, we're getting to a nice purpley brown color. Which isn't terrible. Mixing paint. It's taking a while. Gonna pick this up and scrape because I don't want it to start drying. Because it has to be wet at least long enough for us to spread it out on the box. And hopefully, since we put that base layer of gesso down, this will spread more smoothly, so it will go further and it won't absorb into the box. This actually looks pretty good now. I think I'm happy with that color. It's kind of a mauve tone, kind of a plummy color. Move these out of the way for now. Okay, let's get our brush out. I'm gonna use this one again. Just soften it a little bit because it did, like if you're doing acrylic. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be this way, but whenever I'm working with acrylics, even if I clean off the brush, has a little bit of a starchiness to it the next time I use it when it's dry. Just soften that up a little, dip it in the water here. Oops, I got some water on there. Okay, so just want to get enough water, but not excessive amounts. So I'm going to just brush it off on the sides. Just want the brush a little wet. And then we'll pick up our paint and glue it on. Oh yeah, I do like this color. Now that I'm seeing it going on to here, I like it a lot. Sort of a sandy, earthy purple. Some more. So spot on one side, drag it across, and just drag it back and forth. So I'm trying to pull some of these thicker areas out a little. It's not totally necessary, but just trying to get this spread out. It's starting to feel a little thick, so I'm going to dip my brush again. Grab more paint. Back and forth. This wider brush is great for this. Didn't actually have a wider brush like this before. I would use a sort of a large regular paintbrush. What you might envision as a regular paintbrush, but flat and bigger, like something like that right there. It was good. It was good, but it did take a while to do things. I am going to put a little more water in my brush just to help with the smoothness. Yeah, I feel like I should have mixed a color with the gesso because it is very white coming through here. Usually I like the background color of the box showing through, sort of a brown tone, sandy tone, kind of warmer coming through. Whereas this gesso is very, very white in the background, so it lightens up the color a lot, which is alright, but to find it to be a little bit more showy than I would like. In fact, I'm feeling like I might need to mix up a second coat. You can also do things like this. Whoop. Nope. Definitely not. This is going to need a second coat. Okay, well, we are all out of paint. But this looks like a good first coat. Oh no. Need more paint, a little bit on that spot. There we go. So this looks like it's good for a first coat. We are going to have to come back through and do a second coat. I think I've learned that next time I am definitely going to mix some sort of color into the gesso because I am not really a fan of the white coming through. So yeah, but it's looking decent now. It's covered with a coat of paint, and hopefully the second coat will be able to go on more smoothly, and then we can come back and finish. Just gotta rinse out my brush right now. Oops. I guess that's just a video of box. Okay. And wipe that off. If I were in a better space where there wasn't valuable stuff around me, or things that I consider valuable, I would give it a good shake. But yeah, I didn't want to do that right onto these sort of antique stuff I have around, so I'm just gonna wipe it off with the cloth, kind of bring it back together, and yeah. So we will come back when this box is dry and finish our painting.